Good day, everybody. It's the 9th of January 2024. I hope everything's going good for everybody so far this year, but it looks like there's a big continuation of everything that was going on bad last year. As you know, the conflict in Ukraine is still going. Conflict surrounding Gaza is still going. Hope I can make it up here without slipping. Kind of going uphill. Heading towards this church over here, if you can see this. I think I said the date, it's the 9th, but it's about 1 o'clock. I'm in Minsk, and yesterday I started doing this. Even though it was bright and sunny, it was beautiful, beautiful day, except it was really cold. It was 17 below zero. I didn't have any gloves with me. My fingers are freezing. I couldn't feel my fingers, so I kind of had to cut this off short. And I just erased it. So I'm starting again today. And the information I'm putting out today is information mostly that I was going to put out on Sunday. And today is Tuesday, because I couldn't put it out. We had a guest speaker who was really, really good. And I was on, of course, the usual, my live stream with Dave. And it's called, as you know, From the Other Side. And it was really good. We had John O'Looney, and it was really fantastic. And everybody that watched it was just in shock, talking about things that I'm not allowed to mention here on YouTube. I can't really even mention the name. It has to do with medicine, medical things. And even if I mention the name of it, they take down my video, and they take down our other videos. We can't mention anything. We can't mention anything about it, even though other people get away with saying a lot of things. But with us, they give us a strike. They take us down and give us a strike. And one more time for that podcast, for our live stream, and it's gone for good. So we haven't really been streaming at all on YouTube. We've been streaming on Rumble and on X, and I think maybe even Facebook. But Facebook, it's only a matter of time they're going to start taking us off of that. And we think that somebody turns us in, and even if you put the wrong word in, I think YouTube just deletes it and says, oh, we won't take a chance, just delete it. You know, we won't take a chance of somebody putting out the forbidden information. We don't want the truth to get out there. We want the lie, and everybody has to be asleep, still living on Soma. If you've read Brave New World by George Huxley, and everybody talks about 1984 by George Orwell, but you know, we have Soma. I guess that may be your cell phone and the fake information. Fake news is Soma nowadays. I don't know. It's just a crazy world. Everybody knows that. And John O'Looney was talking about that on that podcast. You should look at that. You should go and try to find From the Other Side, episode number 13. And a lot of shocking things on there. You'll hear a lot of things that you haven't heard anywhere, really, except there. Okay, so let's get into the news. The things I didn't cover before, you know, it was kind of it was just a fantastic interview, and I didn't get to news, and we kind of cut it off early. So I'll just talk about some of those things right now. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about some of these things on Wednesday. So today is Tuesday, and tomorrow is Wednesday. So we're going to be live streaming tomorrow as well. And it's going to be at 8 o'clock Minsk time, from 8 to 10. So you have to look on the internet and find out what it is in your time zone and watch us then. Okay, so the news we're going to be talking about, I'll talk a little bit about that today, is we're talking about these protests, these farmer protests. And you can look back when the French were protesting, and what was that about? It's all about the government trying to get more money. And most of the time what this is all about is to fund wars, particularly the war in Eastern Europe, the war in Ukraine. And of course, a lot of time they use climate change. I don't know if I'm even allowed to talk about that. Climate change, just like what they were doing in Holland when they were cutting things for the Dutch farmers and trying to soak up their land and put them out of business. It's incredible. It's incredible that they're doing this. And then they say there's going to be a food shortage. So I wonder who's bringing that on, you know. Everybody watching this show and watching From the Other Side, you all know what's going on. I don't know. They want to create these crises. You know why? Because these politicians, they're not going to starve. Neither are the super rich people. They're not going to starve. And you know what? Bill Gates, he's practically addicted to beef. And yet he's also part of this deal where they want to get rid of all the cows. They say cows are farting and it's CO2 or methane gas or whatever the deal is, you know. But it's really strange that never harmed us before. Isn't that really weird? All sorts of crap going on. And guess what comes out of the back of the car? If they say there's too many cars in the world, now there's a lot of pollution. Sure, there is. But that's carbon monoxide. That's not carbon dioxide. This is all just a big scam. You guys all know this whole thing. And I think the war is on people. You know, they're trying to reduce the world's population. That's my guess, you know. Get your gender changed so you can't reproduce. You know, go die in some war, just get on the front line and go through the meat grinder. You know, bomb Gaza, just kill all the children, which is definitely genocide. You know, when you're killing the genes of people like that haven't had a chance to reproduce, in my opinion, that is genocide. That is genocide. That's not just ethnic cleansing anymore, even though it's also ethnic cleansing. But yeah, I should be talking a lot more about this stuff. You know, going on a rant, stuff pisses me off. Pisses the rest of you off too, you know. Killing children. And like I was saying, and even John O'Looney was talking about that on that podcast. It's like, I call it 2023 was the war on children. That's what I say. You know, you saw that movie, The Sound of Freedom. I mentioned this before. You know, they put that out in 2023. How many children died in Gaza? How many of, you know? But even before that time, what was going on in Ukraine, our buddies over there, oh no, they're not Nazis. They're not Nazis. They're bombing children in school buses for 10 years now. It's been 10 years. 10 years they've been bombing that, but there was no mention of that, and there's still no mention of that. They've been bombing Belgorod since June. And of course, it's been intensified lately because Ukraine is losing, and they got to find some way to either make Russia look bad. So they're trying to piss Russia off, so that Russia will go ahead and do some more catastrophic bombing, and they hope, the Nazis hope, that Russia will kill some civilians. You know, it'll save them from killing civilians, sending them all to the front line, you know. And guess what? Now I guess they ordered, 50,000 female uniforms, the Ukrainians. So, yeah, probably mention that too tomorrow on the podcast. But let's go on. Let's keep going on about this stuff. Started just mentioning about these farmer protests. I'm not going to get into too many details. Maybe tomorrow we can talk about this a little bit more. Dave's sick, so maybe I can just, his voice is kind of gone, so maybe I can just flap my jaws for the whole time tomorrow and put out a lot of information. Oh, look, everything's getting wet here because of actually it's not so cold today. Yesterday was minus 17, and today it's only minus 9 or 10, I think. So it's actually kind of comfortable. I don't mind it so much in this thing here, this temperature. Okay. And Le Parisien, that's a publication, I guess. I don't know if it's just online. I don't know if there is such a thing as somebody that puts things on newspaper anymore. But that's a French publication, and they said 2023 was the year of Putin. You know, probably good. His economy is doing great in spite of the sanctions. He's got far more support than he ever has had. And yeah, he's more popular. He's popular around the world. You know, unless you're listening to, who is this, Matt Miller or John Kirby or some of those jokers in the United States government. Oh, he's isolated. Oh, nobody likes him anymore. No, but Joe Biden is really loved. You know, I was also mentioning, well, maybe you can mention again tomorrow, but that's anyway, a lot of these bombings are done with Czech weapons. They're cluster munitions. And France, by the way, said, oh, that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine that they were attacking Belgorod. It's self-defense. So killing civilians with cluster bombs even is called self-defense. And France, I guess, recently signed this convention for the banning of cluster bombs. But, oh, no, it's okay when you're killing Russians. So Russians, it's okay. It's okay to kill those because they're not people. We all know that. They're not human beings. At least that's what the world is turning to anyway, the Western world. The Baltic states, Poland, the United States, Germany, France, Great Britain especially. I mean, Australia, they're all trying to say, oh, they're not humans, they're Russians. So, I don't know. A lot to say about dehumanizing people. So, and what was it? Dmitry Medvedev. He didn't like that about France when they said it's okay to kill Russians, you know, kill Russian civilians, I might say. And he said, we never liked the French. He said something like they eat frogs or whatever. They're faggots, scum, bastards, monsters. Ooh, I'm glad I didn't say that. Putin normally doesn't make any response when he gets pissed off, because he might end up saying that sort of thing too. So, but you know, Putin and Dmitry Medvedev was, of course, the president at one time. They play kind of good cop, bad cop. So Medvedev is the bad cop. He plays the bad cop, but he's actually a very rational thinker, as you all know. Anyway, so they have to do something, you know. They have to do something a little bit. They're not doing any PR propaganda, fake news games like the United States and the rest of the West. What is it? Olaf Scholz, what did he say? Russia cut off our gas, you know. No, it wasn't the U.S. blowing up the pipeline, and everybody's talking about that now. A lot of things going on. Oh, Poland is not cooperating with the information and all that sort of thing. Well, that information happens to be that a lot of this stuff went through Poland, and they knew it, you know. And then, of course, some official even congratulated the United States for blowing up the pipelines. Oh, no, but the U.S. didn't do it. It was Gilligan and the skipper and all those people. They were on some boat, you know, for a 3-hour tour, and some little boat, and they're the ones that blew up the pipelines. I mean, who would be so ridiculous? You guys all know the story about that. As soon as Seymour Hersh put out his story, Olaf Scholz got on a plane as fast as he could, rushed over to the United States, and then, of course, right away that ad came up in German press, if you call it online press, that it was some people in a boat with some woman or something like that. You know, I told Alex Cristoforo, I don't know if he liked that very much, but I said, you know, they all went fishing, actually. That was really what they were doing. They went fishing. And, you know, there's one guy, he caught a halibut, and the other guy caught a stingray, and you know, and one guy got 4 lingcods, you know, and one guy got 2 marlins. He got 2 marlins, and the woman, the only she came back with was a red snapper. So you can look that one up. Okay, what else do we have here? Latvia wants to expel the Russians out of their country. They're not Nazis. They just have the wrong blood in them. Gosh damn, you know? Okay, by the 15th of December, Germany's arms exports arms exports, I think in total, turned out to be 11.7 billion euros. And most of that, of course, went to Ukraine, as you all know that, most of it. And I think what was it, just yesterday, the Germans put out that the Leopard tanks, they're not really suitable for war. They're only good for parades. I think the Germans were even putting that out, because they're finding out they're all getting blown up way too easy. And that's why the United States doesn't want their tanks to be put into battle, is because they're going to all be burning on the fields. Russia's going to take care of those. You know, incredible, isn't it, huh? Yes. And Kiev has admitted that there's 34 countries are involved in training Ukrainian soldiers. 34 countries. You know, I mean, it makes you wonder how the U.S. has this big reach of threatening people if they don't do what they're told to do. So 34 countries. Yeah. Somebody said that the soldiers now, I don't know, are even up to over 60 years old, the new recruits. I don't know. That's really hard to believe, isn't it? Wait a minute. But anyway, and as a matter of fact, that's some of the people that Latvia is actually expelling. The Russians are in their 60s. So, you know, what are they going to do? Go get they're going to lose their home, and then they're going to have to go find another job or something. Huh. Yeah. And Kubala, this was funny. Kuleba. This guy, what is he, the foreign minister? Foreign minister of Ukraine. He was on CNN stating that the money that you send to Ukraine, it's not a charity, it's an investment. Don't you know that? Just wondering when and how much and in what way are they going to get their money back after you invest it there to get your returns? I don't know. Maybe it's, maybe there's something to do with the blood bank. I don't know. You know, you just get the blood out of the meat and oh gosh, terrible. Shouldn't even talk like that. I think he's saying that, oh, if you don't give us money, I think Zelensky we should have played that. We should have played that video. Give us your money. We know you care about yourself. But in caring about yourself, you must give us your money. You're just like, oh, really? Is that how that works? We care about ourselves, so we give you our money. It shows that we love ourselves. So I guess what he's actually, Zelensky, you know, they got a new religion over there. You know, they kicked out the old Orthodox religion. It just had the Christmas, by the way, on the 7th, a couple of days ago. So they kicked those out. They started their new religion. And of course, this new other religion that Ukraine is starting, called the Orthodox Church of Ukraine, rather than the Ukrainian Orthodox Church. So, but the Orthodox Church of Ukraine, I guess they also believe that money is the root of all evil. So send it all to Ukraine and they will take on your sins by taking on your money. I guess that's the logic of that, you know. Y'all can look that up yourself, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe, I don't wonder what Jesus would think about that. Yeah, one of the other things, the ways, you know, that actually this money, if you don't, you know, you send them the money, you would think that they'd be able to put their own satellites up, you know, or somehow, or maybe build them, or who knows what, you know, with the billions and billions and billions of dollars that are going to Ukraine. I mean, it's incredible. But apparently there are over 500 satellites working for the Ukraine right now. Over 500. And how many of them? 70 of them are purely for military purposes. And over 400 of that 500 are in dual use. They're both civilian and military use. So that's just some information you might want to know. I don't know. I had here, since I haven't looked at this for a while. Let me see. What is this about gas? Another cost to the West is gas. Germany overpaid for gas. Was it the West or EU? EU has overpaid by 185 billion in gas costs in the past 10 months. 10 months, not a year, 10 months. From February 2022 until December 2023. And the gas they got 53 billion from, I mean, of that overpayment, 53 billion euros from the US, 27 billion from the UK, 24 billion from Norway. Isn't that, hey, those are the three top ones. Isn't that weird? Those, you know, Norway, weren't they involved in setting off the buoy? You know, I mean, there was a buoy with a transponder on it, according to Seymour Hersh, that actually exploded the bombs on the pipelines. Isn't that incredible? And also, along with that, Olaf Scholz says that Russia cut off the gas, but there's a spigot in Germany on the Nord Stream pipeline that did not get blown up. It's still perfectly intact. And the only way, I mean, the way to get that gas is for Germany to turn the spigot on, but yet they refuse to do it. So that means that Russia has cut off the gas somehow. Figure that one out. Figure that one out, everybody. Yeah, but that's their logic. It's Russia's fault. You know, Russia does everything. And I guess during the Iraq war, it was Iran. It was Iran that was doing everything. Now it's Russia doing everything. Isn't that weird? You know, you had certain times when they become the bad guys, you know. And I remember normally it was Hezbollah or Hamas, you know. I think there was somebody from Hamas sitting inside of those Israeli helicopters and tanks that fired and shot and killed all those Israelis. So I think it was a ghost of Hamas. You know, there was a ghost of Kiev, so why not have a ghost of Hamas also? You know, isn't that weird? Yes, but Norway. And then also, recall that on the day after those I think it was the day after, maybe just a couple days after the Nord Stream pipelines blew up, a new pipeline just strangely enough came into being. It was a pipeline from Norway to Poland. And Poland is now being implicated in not coming forth with some information about the pipeline exploding. Well, anyway, sometimes there's times in life when the truth actually comes out, and you're seeing some kind of evidence coming about right now, but it makes you really wonder. I'll tell you what, Seymour Hersh might actually come up with information that connects these dots. It's pretty amazing. He's probably looking at it right now. So you got to keep your eyes on Seymour Hersh. But I think you better watch his back, because this is some big stuff. This is some big stuff. He's an older guy too right now, by the way. And as far as, isn't it weird also that, that the blowing up of the pipelines, that was the biggest release of greenhouse gases, man-made greenhouse gases in all of history. And the climate activists are not even interested in investigating it, finding out who did it, and maybe punishing them. There's no interest whatsoever. Isn't that incredible? Not even Greta Thunberg. How dare you? How dare you, I told her. But she didn't listen to me. Okay. Another thing that's really funny. You saw John Kirby up there. He was explaining how bad Russia is, because the funny part about it is we think there might be some evidence that North Korea is giving weapons, selling weapons to Russia, and we think that there might be some kind of evidence of some suspicion that Iran is also doing that, so therefore this is unfair and Russia bad. But, what about the US giving all those weapons to Israel to kill children? There's nothing wrong with that, is there? Well, there's nothing wrong with giving them to the Nazis in Ukraine when they were bombing all those people in Donbass. It's going on 10 years now. I don't know how many thousands of people died there, but there is no problem with that. As a matter of fact, the United States is sending weapons all over the world, But it's really bad if somebody else sells any weapons to Russia, But I'll tell you what, the United States even gets weapons from other people. As a matter of fact, a lot of their weapons are not even made in the United States. It's just like the same as American cars. A lot of them are made in other countries also. So that's just something I had to add there. And what else do we have here? Another statistics. 2.6 million Ukrainians have fled to Russia, according to the United Nations. And isn't that weird? You're hearing about all these, the strain of all of these Ukrainian immigrants and all the, well, I don't know, we hear about the crimes, rapes and all sorts of things, and just some other things, whatever the Ukrainian refugees are doing in a lot of these countries. But the 2.6 million Ukrainians that have fled to Russia is more than the next 3 countries combined that has received Ukrainian refugees, which is Poland, Germany, and the Czech Republic. So Russia has got more Ukrainian refugees than all 3 of those countries combined. And I'll tell you what, there's at least many tens of thousands that have also come to Belarus. And so they were just talking about Russia. So we got quite a bit here. But I think it's maybe 60,000 or 70,000. I'm not even sure myself. And Belarus has got other refugees too. And just, was it yesterday, the Poles killed 2 guys. I don't know if they got over the fence or something over there, trying to get their way to Germany or whatever, some refugees from the Middle East, and the Poles killed one of the guys. And that was on you can find it on Telegram channels and things like that. Like I said, 2 guys, and he's talking in English, by the way. He calls them animals, the Polish people. Nikki Haley, she put a tweet, I think it's called a tweet. I don't know, it's called X now. I don't know if they still call them tweets. But Nikki Haley, she put out that Russia has said that after Ukraine, they're going to go and take over Poland and the Baltics. But the strange thing is, nobody seems to have ever heard Russia say that. They have to have said it. They must have said it somewhere. Because they're evil, but we just haven't found it yet. You know what? I think it's secret. I think Putin is doing that I think he did it in hand signals, or maybe he communicated through aliens or something like that, because that's normally how that works, right? Okay, what else do we have here? You have to be ready though, because Ukraine is on duty. You know, it makes you wonder. Everybody's talking about, you know, Ukraine, give me money, give me money. And then you have Klitschko, who's the mayor of Kiev. You know, he was I think he was a boxer at one time. And even police officials and Rezhnikov and the first one was Yatsenyuk. All these people are getting big, huge mansions all over in the West. Klitschko, he just got his place, the one he just bought. He's got two. He's got two in Hamburg, but I think he had one earlier. But some people are saying he bought both of these recently, and I think one of them is 5.9 million US dollars. You know, his house or something in Hamburg. Wow, 5.9 million, and that's just one of them. Everybody knows that Zelensky's got a lot of houses. There was something coming out. Some people say that it might have been fake, where it was there was a house bought in, where was this, Egypt, and it was supposed to be for Zelensky's mother-in-law, and I think that was 5 million. But you know, it was put out by supposedly by some blogger. They showed a picture of him, and I think I don't know if there was actually even a video of him talking about it, and they showed the house and all that sort of stuff, and then somebody said it's fake, that there is no blogger like that. I'm starting to wonder, you know, I don't know if it was fake. Even if it was, everybody knows Zelensky's got at least $20 million worth of homes, you know. And then some guy, I'll never get over this, he said there is no, and I even looked it up myself, and the guy's actually right, that there is no evidence that Zelensky has more than $20 million, so he's not a billionaire, even though I think it was Forbes even that put out, and then they redacted it, that Zelensky, that was over a year and a half ago, he had, or 2 years ago, I think he had 1.2 billion or whatever. It's kind of similar to what Trump had at that time, actually. Somebody put out recently that Zelensky's got $10 billion. Now, there was no verification for that, but I think that last time they did put out, he had $5 billion. And, but it's obvious, Zelensky, he had over $20 million before he became the president of Ukraine. So whoever, you know, I mean, that's all just some fake news trying to make him look like a poor boy. You know, has to go around with hand-me-down green T-shirts or something, or sweatshirts. Well, it's colder weather right now, so you got to wear sweatshirts. But I think, you know, I saw him switch to some blue. It was a dark navy blue. Maybe people are criticizing him, and not to mention the fact that it's also put out that the factory that makes uniforms, at least one of them, maybe his green sweatshirts or whatever, Russia blew it up or something like that. But, you know, after the fact, after it was blown up, Ukraine put in an order for 50,000 women's uniforms. So obviously there's more than one factory. That was just maybe the major factory for making military gear, apparently, or maybe just the green sweatshirts. I don't know. Anyway, and some sort of a factory or whatever that makes something for Ukrainians for clothing or something was blown up by the Russians. I think that was on, what day was that? 5th or something. Doesn't matter, does it? Yeah. Yeah. I want Dave to play, he didn't want to play it. I want him to play, it's a very entertaining video. And if you guys remember me saying this, describing it, and otherwise I might forget to describe this tomorrow when we're live, and if Dave does play it. But it's a very entertaining video, and a lot of these Ukrainians doing some show, obviously borrowed from American type things, and they're dancing like they're black people in a church. You know how they kind of get into the music. You know, it looks really cool actually. But they have, it's not blackface, it's red face. They make themselves look like demons, and the guys have horns on their heads, and they're talking about like doing bad stuff to Russians, and then they even use some bad language, but it's all in Ukrainian, and you have to read the subtitles. So, but it's about, you know, hoping that the Russians get diseases and bombs drop on their houses and stuff like that. But they're not Nazis. So I don't know. I thought I was about done with this information. I still have some more. Yeah, Schultz is getting under pressure to send the long-range Taurus missiles to Ukraine. You know, the long-range ones. And I think Russia, probably that's some kind of a red line. Of course, AfD is not pressuring them, but all the other parties are wanting to, to go kill some Russians, I guess. That's what it's all about, as a provocation, I guess. And then they say, Russia's going to attack Germany. So then I wonder, if you are worried about somebody might attack you, why would you attack them unprovoked? That's really good logic, isn't it? I mean, or give somebody else really deadly long-range weapons to kill them and think that they're going to love and kiss you or something like that after that. A bunch of friggin' idiots. The whole world, I tell you what, these politicians, this is all done on purpose. Because you look at all this stuff going on in the world. Nobody could be this stupid. Look at Trudeau, Olaf Scholz, Biden, Kirby, and all of these jokers. Nobody is that stupid. Nobody is as stupid as doing these stupid things that these people do to try to get everybody to kill each other. And you can go on and on about all the stupid crap they do. I don't know. I'm already doing that right now, aren't I? And somebody put something out that the Abrams are now going to the front lines or something, but I doubt it. We'll see them burning. Maybe it's just a BS stuff. Yes, and tension heats up in the Mideast. The USA has been seen to lately been stealing even larger quantities of Syria's oil. They sent like 56, I wrote it here, 56 tankers and some other trucks, covered trucks. Nobody knows what was in those, but 56 oil tankers. They've been stealing oil anyway, but at some points in time, they steal a lot of oil. They just sent a whole lot out. They're under attack at the moment quite regularly by Iraqi militants from the northern part of Iraq. And the U.S., as you know, they run terrorists. Well, not just ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Everybody knows those are U.S. I mean, people that watch this, you guys all know that those are U.S. proxies as well. I mean, Dave was in intelligence, military sort of a thing. He was a contractor. And I was in Army intelligence. And I worked for the commanding general and all that. And I don't know, what do I say? Just trust us? Was it just trust us? But a lot of you guys already know this stuff. So that's not much more to say about that. And yes, Mideast without knowing is it's still the same old stuff going on. I guess I can read this before tomorrow and start talking about this again if there's anything that I'm going to miss in here. The same stuff going on in Gaza and in with Israel. And you already all know that Israel killed a high-ranking Hamas commander while he was in Beirut, Lebanon. Lebanon didn't like that too much. And of course, this guy was well known to Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah. And he was also well known by the Iranians. And Soleimani. There's pictures of him with Soleimani even at one point in time. So this guy was kind of a big shot. And this is probably a provocation. Israel's probably trying to provoke Hezbollah to doing something very drastic. Probably they're hoping, just like in Ukraine, just hoping that they'll kill some civilians, innocent civilians, and then get the USA to give them more destructive bombs or who knows what the heck. Israel already has nuclear weapons, so maybe they want to use them. I don't have any idea. Crazy world, crazy world. You never know what's going to happen next, people. I don't know. Oh, I am coming to the end here. I'm coming to the end. Isn't that great? Because my fingers are frozen again. I think it's only like 9, like I said, 9 below zero. Yesterday was 17. I was out here just, 10 minutes, and my fingers, I couldn't even feel them yet already. So, let's see. Oh, this attack. A lot of these attacks, this one on this funeral on the anniversary of Soleimani's killing, done in Iran. I think immediately the United States says, oh, it looks like it's ISIS, and of course what that means that the US did it, probably, more than likely. I think there was an expression that says, don't ever believe anything from the US until it's been officially denied. So there you go. That's actually a very famous quote. So CIA stuff. The United States, as you note, they don't have a very good track record of honesty. Looks like a lot of these places don't. Like Ukraine, think about that. Think how honest they are. An honest Nazi, I don't know. Yeah. Yemen, you know, there's still some things going on there. I don't know. Nobody seems to want to help the United States get involved with all of this stuff, you know. So everybody's a little bit worried about that. I guess they had a huge protest in Yemen just a couple days ago, and over 1 million people showed up. It was a protest about what's going on in Palestine, about what Israel is doing. So they're pretty hot. There's a lot of people in Muslim countries that are very, very hot about the killing, and it's just continuing. Over 1 million, they say. Yeah. Yes. Well, actually, let me end it there before my fingers freeze off. And I hope you guys are going to join us on our live stream tomorrow from the other side, broadcast at 8 o'clock Minsk time, Minsk, Belarus. And we call it From the Other Side because we are on the other side. As you know, there is kind of like a iron curtain descending again right now. It's sort of like between the propagandized world and the real world. We're living in the real world over here on this side. And unfortunately, you guys are in a world like that over there. You know, there are things here that are not as good as some things in the West, but then again, there's a lot of things that are much better over here than they are over where you guys are. So that's about all I have to say. My battery looks like it's about ready to get dead too here, die. So I'll end. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. And again, also check out that podcast, number 13 that we did, and then join us for number 14 tomorrow evening. Bye-bye. Thanks.